Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. We are here again talking all things Married at First Sight. So again, I am here with the beautiful Joseph Connor.
Hey.
Okay, and I'm Intisar for all of you who don't know. And we are just going to jump right into the month anniversary of Married at First Sight season 12. Okay, so it opens up. First things first. Let's backpedal pussy pop.
Yeah. Wow.
Bust down, subscribe to this Mammy Tatton channel, okay? We are growing and we are building and we want you guys to come on this journey with us. So make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell so you know all the times we're putting out new content and you can hang out with us, okay?
Yeah.
So.
Sure.
Now I'm ready. Sure.
That's gonna be my new thing, y'all. I'm still.
That's my new. I said it today at work.
New thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's jump in to Clara and Ryan. They actually opened up the show this week, which I don't know why. I think they're trying to make them less. Something is brewing there. I feel like, and I don't know if that's in a positive way, but Clara is over at Ryan's home and she is reorganizing some things and moving her stuff in. Mm-hmm. And what do you think? Me and Joe did not talk to each other this entire episode.
We try not to because it was so much to say. I mean, first things first, I think you're forgetting you should have wore your bonnet today, so we did this video with your bonnet on. Okay. We're not gonna...
Ain't nobody forget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. I ain't even going out like that.
So
that is not funny. I ain't even going out like that. Let me tell you. You know what? Before we get into it, okay? Let's just give you all a little snippet. Derek Jackson out here lying in these streets, talking about cheating on his wife and all that BS like that, and had the nerve to say,
I'm about to go find her bonnet so we can do this.
No,
right.
we're not. We're not about
You're
to do that.
supposed to hold my hand.
Yeah, I don't want to hold your hand. The idea, can y'all? Somebody said I would rub my bare poom poom on the concrete.
Ooh, that's
before I sit next to a mother jumper who done cheat and hold his hand while he talk about cheating on me in the third person, like with your bonnet. But I don't want to shame women for being themselves at home. That's not I get it. And she's a mother, but I also feel like just yourself.
When he bamboozled, it looked like he bamboozled her. Like
we are going so left already.
We are. Okay, let's.
No, go ahead, man. I'm gonna hear you.
It just looked like he bamboozled her. Like she didn't know that she was going to a taping at the time.
She knew. She just is in a cult. We saw all those videos afterwards. She's in a cult. The Church of Derek Jackson and got her all the way. I don't want no dick like that. That got me like, doing all this crazy stuff, want to sit there, like, don't nobody want to be dealing with that. I mean, but nobody want to be dealing with that.
That's a lot. Anyway, we talking about Clara and Ryan, right?
Right.
Clara and Ryan, they are very surface level. They have no depth to their relationship. It's really nothing going on. It's nothing happening there. And they kind of just prove on what I said about them they just gonna go ahead and get along, and I think that's just work. That's just playing itself out on camera.
Did you feel like them reorganizing or Clara reorganizing Ryan's house was premature?
I thought the whole thing of her moving in, like, are y'all getting kicked out of the apartment or something like that? Why are you going to his house already and you talking about this gotta go and that gotta go, and he like, I don't even know your middle name. Like, how are we doing all of this? It seemed like a lot. And he said it was a lot. He was like, this is a lot. Like, this is a lot. I don't know where that came from. Maybe we missed something. Because I don't know where it came from. I felt like
it was a lot too. And I felt like it's so fascinating to people who don't own their home, who come into these situations like they got so much work to do. You're really on a good foot with somebody if they've already acquired an asset. He on the right side of life. So for you to be trying to act like, oh my God, you ain't got no plates, you ain't got no this, you ain't got no that. It's like, girl, bye. He got the house. What more do he need to have?
And I think he was a good sport about it and saying, like, the more and more we get to know Ryan, I think the more and more I like him, right? I think he's genuinely a good guy. Mm-hmm. I think he's genuinely committed to this process and going through it. And I think he got dealt a rough hand with Clara. But he was a good sport about it. He said, you know what? She came in trying to rearrange everything and take stuff down and move stuff here and there, and I wanted to be married. And this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I can appreciate that. When she came here, she was throwing shit out the window too. And I just said, that's just what it is.
That's very true.
You want to move a woman into your space, she's gonna rearrange your whole life.
That's true. And so I'm still throwing stuff away.
Still. So I think that it was cool that's that he was a good sport about it, and he was just like, you know what, this is the process. You know, I appreciate that about him. They just have no connection.
And I think that he fighting for it. We're going to go today, instead of going couple by couple again, we're going to go in the order of events. So let's go right into Chris and Paige going on a free date to play basketball. And I just want to keep bringing this up only because I want to remind y'all that the baby mom got a Benz. So
yeah, for sure. She's somewhere with her Benz.
Free date. Not to say that you got to spend an arm and a leg, but we ain't even seen you take her out, wine and dine her, do nothing like zhuzhy, sexy, nothing like that.
Because he not that committed. Like, he gonna show up for taping, but I don't know that he's that committed. I don't think that he's. He brought her chicken, so I think in his mind, like, I think in his mind, the next step is, let's go to the basketball court and we can do something. I guess I don't know if you can. I guess it was an activity where they're moving. I don't know. Maybe you could think about it like that. I don't know.
But then another thing, ladies, and this is coming from, and I'm all for body positivity. You know, I love to show my tatas, all that stuff like that. However, we got to get in the high-waisted leggings. I don't want to be seeing bitches' belly buttons in 2021. It is so it is almost, and y'all gonna think this is so crazy. When I see y'all walking around in low-rise leggings, jeans, it's almost the equivalent of me seeing y'all vagina.
That's a lot. Not the vagina.
That's how I feel. I be like, what is her belly button showing? Like,
not the vagina.
It literally freaked me out to see her belly button. And it's just like, and not to say, like I said, I'm all for body positivity guru. Do your thing. You got a nice shape, everything like that. But get a good pair of leggings. They didn't even look like, you ever wear a bad pair of leggings, the cheap ones, and you got to keep pulling them up all day long because they sliding down, you're cracking your butt showing. It looked like she had on those. Okay? And I just felt like, and I know I'm not trying to be dragging her like that, but I just feel like, do she be prepared? Like, where is she getting these outfits? Like, and sis is an accountant, so we know that you have the ends and the means to go out. It ain't no way. Y'all have told me I was coming on TV and I wouldn't have bought a whole shit ton of clothes.
It's the friend. You gotta have friends. I think nobody is telling her like. That's what I'm
people are gonna judge you. Let's be clear. It doesn't matter what. Like, you know what I mean? They're gonna judge you no matter what. However, I do think that there's something to presenting your best self. Because quite frankly, we saw the baby mama. None of us had anything bad to say about her.
Nope.
Like, nothing. And that's partially because she judged herself. She knew where the F she was going.
Yeah, she knew exactly where she was going.
You know what I mean? All the white women in America watch Lifetime. You know what I mean? Like, you got to consider your source. But what I thought was really cool was that Chris started talking and opening up. Did not make me like him more. But I thought that it was cool to see how he characterized himself as an introvert. And he has extrovert tendencies, but he really is an introvert. I thought that was really...
Yeah, I mean, this was a weird space to be in this episode because it was Chris and Paige in a space that we've really never seen them before, in a space that is pretty much normal for the rest of the couples and getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a lot of F-boy drama going on this episode, which is weird for us. Like, we're not used to seeing Chris and Paige where somebody not talking about their baby mama or, you know, some wild stuff. So it was a little weird and different to see them in that light. And my thought process was, okay, y'all here, y'all doing this. I'm going to go here with y'all. It's like the friend who come to you and she say, I'm done with this dude. I'm over him. And then she bring him to the cookout and you like, all right, well, you here, you with him. So we gonna have a good time. I kind of felt that way. And that's kind of how I felt. Like, all right, let's do this. Are y'all gonna? So I was viewing them in the lens of everybody else for the first time in I think 12 weeks or however long we've been doing this. They screwed that up. They screwed it up by the end of the episode. But that's in that point I was viewing them as that, like, okay, Chris is sharing some things. I thought that was a very interesting thing to share. I thought that them going on their little active date was cool, and so I was like, you know what? If she gonna stay and he gonna show up,
let's do it.
All right, okay.
Let's
do it.
And
he opened a window into him being intentional about spending time with her outside of taping, which was a little awkward because he said, I called you trying to meet up with you when the cameras was off and you wasn't giving me no type time.
Well,
so now it was like, okay, what's happening? You know what I mean?
We're gonna get into that a little later. But before we get into that, he made Paige asked him about being engaged previously because he was engaged before. Mm-hmm. And he was 20, which is very young.
Yeah.
And, it makes sense that it didn't work out, whatever the case may be. However, I didn't like that he didn't want to tell her how long they were together.
I didn't like that either, but I think I always take into account editing. Because I feel like it's possible he said it eventually in the conversation.
They kept the first
take. And they just kept the first take because to me, it didn't. He told her everything else. So in my mind, like, why wouldn't he tell her that? She's 2 fiancés removed at this point, right? So I'm thinking, I kind of chalked that up to editing, like, like, okay, maybe I'm assuming that he said this later.
Yeah.
And we just didn't show it because it's, it's more drama if he says, I'm not going to tell you, and then it cut to another subject.
Yeah, but what's becoming increasingly more apparent to me is that Chris is a fascinating individual. And I want to say, I mean that, like, I don't want to be mean, even though I really don't care for him as a human being. However, he's fascinating in that this life that he lives, part of me don't even believe it. And there's receipts
because
there's actual receipts.
They've lied. Yeah, I mean when a liar is telling you stuff, you think you don't know where to put your hands.
I feel like oh my god, he wouldn't be able to have a conversation at this point and not be 1,000% transparent about everything. You already done told me you done dropped the baby. So for you to say like, oh no, I don't want to talk about that. That's not, you don't. Respectfully, that ain't even a lane you could take up. But because Paige is Paige, she can't demand those kind of things.
Yeah, Paige.
And I mean that respectfully.
Paige's bar is low. Her bar is very low.
I mean that respectfully.
Paige is gonna go along because she feels like
she's trying now.
Yeah,
she's trying. She's trying to get back her, but. Whatever. The girls go on a cute little date together and they hit the bar. It's Brianna, Haley, and Paige. And obviously Brianna and Vincent are doing really well. And she expresses how she's kind of nervous because they're moving fast. And she was just single, so it's a lot to take in. Yeah. But I do enjoy hearing about her honest depiction of where she is. Because I'm going to be real, I think Brianna, outside of Jacob, is the second realest person on this whole show. Where she's honest about how she feels about things. For example,
I can get with
Paige tells them that the boy bought a car for the baby mama. And she said, well, it ain't no baby here yet. And I thought that was a very honest reaction. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to saying, well, like, I know it's hard and it'll be okay. She was just like, I don't know, like, make it make sense.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
You know what I mean? Because you're not going to say that. I'll say it for you kind of thing, like, as your girl.
Yeah.
But, so, I think she the second realest mother jumper on there. But they all get into the details of what's going on with their relationships. And Haley talks about her and Jacob and trying to get into this space where him and her can be more physically intimate.
Yeah.
Not sex, but just some touching.
Intimate, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I also think it was cool that Brianna and Paige were like, it's good that you're making steps to be in the same bed and do this like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, encouragement. Yeah.
Encourage and be more intentional because I think they felt like, I think they know that she wasn't trying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because they was there when she went on the girls trip or girls date.
Right.
And it wasn't a girls date, but then she ended up just telling him later that she just didn't invite him because she didn't want him around. Like they've been privy to all of this all of this drama that's been happening in the background. So it makes sense, yeah.
It makes sense. But I thought it was really cool for them to sit down and have that. Clara and Virginia go out with their beaux, Eric and Ryan as well, which I thought was weird because Virginia says, like, me and Clara really hit it off. And I was like, in the first 2 episodes, Clara was talking mess about you, sis.
When did y'all hit it off?
Every episode that you're in where she has to show up and you're not there, she always talking about how you late, you this, you that. I just think, like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, girl, bye.
It was forced, but I feel like, it was what was really not upsetting, but annoying to me was I'm really tired of Eric sitting down with people and telling everybody that it's so perfect, everything that they're going through. Yeah, but I talked about this in the beginning. I talked about this early on.
I'm tired.
That's the tip that he's on. He's on that, like, everything is great. We're in love. And now they love each other and everything is phenomenal.
I don't have no problem with that, though. It's like, you should say you love. Dude, they're trying to grow something.
No.
Yes, if you are with somebody, and we spoke about this with Eric and Sharon, our guests, not too long ago. If you're with somebody and you enjoy their presence, you love being around them. You don't have to be. Then
say I love being around you. But this whole thing of I enjoy the presence of a lot of people. I'm not in love with a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? When I go get my oil change, I enjoy the presence of the guy who runs the company. It's black owned. He's very nice to me. He's always been very nice to me. I'm not in love with him. And when I leave, I don't tell him I love you. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I just don't do that. Now, there is a casual sense of love where amongst people who you may be acquainted with. You might say, hey, you know what? Love you, sis. Love you, bro. Something like that. Yeah. But to say, we love each other, and you don't love each other. Y'all don't love each other. You don't even know them.
I think
you can't love them. You can't love a person who you don't even know.
You can. I think that we spoke about this the other day, speaking things into existence. And I think if you
but love ain't one of them things. That's not one of them things that you speak into existence. And that was a nice try, but that's not it. That's not one of them things.
So they ask Clara and Ryan how they feeling about the love thing and everything like that, and Ryan was like, it's going great. So sure, it's fine. Like, you know what I mean? And I thought that was kind of like I think he's tired of this process. I think Ryan is getting real bored of telling people how he feel about things.
Yeah, I agree. I think the cameras seems like that's not really for him. I don't know what people thought they was getting into when they signed up to be on the reality TV
my
show.
God!
I mean, they complain. We've seen on other seasons where people complain about cameras being around all the time, and I gotta call time, and I gotta wake up, and you sign up for a reality show. What the hell did you think was going to be involved in you being in a reality show?
I just don't. I don't understand.
I'm baffled by the complaints that come out of people that are on reality TV.
That's genuine.
Not that Ryan complained about anything.
He didn't, but but
he seems uncomfortable.
He is visibly uncomfortable. I don't know if Clara quite picks up on that, and I'm starting to think the sex thing is less about the sex
and more about
I don't want anybody to ask me if I'm screwing, so I'm just not going to screw. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Or just get more going further into this lane of just him being uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable with the cameras. I'm uncomfortable with you. You want to have sex, but the cameraman is he right outside the door, and I can hear them. Right. You know what I mean? And it's like,
how can I even get ready for that?
Right. It just seems like it's an uncomfortable situation for him. And that's why he's just like very curt with his words, but very
he
brief.
is very curt.
Sure. Yeah, that's whatever you want to do. Yeah.
But another thing is, respectfully, when y'all go through this process to pick people, why even pick people like this? Like, I do understand that you have to pick.
I don't know. I can't.
Like, just different personalities. Like, I get that, but
you should take into account. You should take into account people that are camera shy, because there's going to be cameras everywhere.
Yeah, I know. And then the other thing is, like, do you want it to be overproduced? Like, no, not necessarily.
It's already overproduced. Y'all already overproducing
Tell them that.
But you should take into account whether somebody is going to be comfortable enough to be on TV, to be with cameras in their face. Because if that's the very bottom, the very basic level. Absolutely. You being comfortable talking to a camera, you being somebody's gonna always ask you how you feel. What you think about that? That's what it is. That's what being on the they're gonna ask you to do it twice. Whatever you said to her, say it again.
That's a fact.
They're gonna ask you to do that, right? If you're uncomfortable with doing that, this ain't for you. This is not an average dating app or dating situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so they should take that into account.
Did you feel like Clara was kind of like hating on Virginia and Eric?
1,000%, and that's why you gotta protect who you share not only your high moments with, but your low moments with.
Yeah.
Because you can't be giving these tidbits to some hating ass females and males. Okay.
Yeah, because men are haters too.
I'm choosing my words lightly because that's not the language that I wanted to say.
I think she a hater, and I think it is so in her veins, and I also think that she's so used to winning or being chosen or picked or whatever that this space is very humbling for her.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I think it's very humbling for her because now it's like ain't nobody even feeling you like that. Like look at you. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? But not even just look at you. Look at you, like who you are as a person.
Yeah.
It's not that great. Like, you know what I mean? At least from what we're getting to see on the show. So yeah. I wanted to go back to one thing that because I really want to address this. Brianna says that her and Vincent are just alike. Why do y'all think people say that as if that's a good thing?
Because first of all, I have an issue. Not only do I have an issue with that statement,
okay,
but I have an issue with people. I feel like people just say things that they think they're supposed to say.
Oh my God, I'm so tired.
Camera. Yeah, and I feel like that was very much in the vein of doing that.
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
It was just like, relax, sis. You doing well. Y'all working through stuff. You're learning each other. You're growing your relationship. Slow down. Relax. It's okay. But people got to double down. They got to go harder. They got to, it's like, so you went from, we doing good. You know, we open, we're talking about the L word and we doing this, that, and the third. And now we just alike. We perfect for each other. He did it like, come on, sis. Like, just relax. Like, just an episode ago, y'all was having huge communication issues.
That's a fact.
So just slow. It's okay.
And it's
nobody's
okay.
relationship is perfect. Nobody's relationship is perfect.
Got a whole baby.
Straight up. So like,
consider the audience too.
Straight up.
Let it hang out, sis.
Straight up. Nobody's relationship is perfect. So just slow down. And I feel like that was my issue with her in the beginning, with Brianna in the beginning, mm-hmm. where I felt like she was trying to get to a place too fast, where it was the yeah, I got you, I'm gonna hold you, you don't even know him yet, but you're doing the back rub thing, you know what I mean? And then, so, but I was projecting these type of comments from her. Like I've seen this before. So when she said it, and then she's, we're just alike. Y'all not just alike.
It's just y'all not.
Y'all might be nothing alike.
And that's okay.
It's okay.
What people don't get is like, that's just fine. And that might be Joe and I we are nothing. I don't know if we're nothing alike.
No, we're alike
in a lot of ways.
Well, we're similar in a lot of ways.
But
and we have differences, right? But that's okay. You know
and that's
I mean?
Okay. Like that's
there's nothing wrong with
to be
that.
Embraced.
And I know couples who are completely different. Like literally, we have more similarities than
but we also kind of grew up with each other, so it's different.
Yeah, so it's different. But I know couples who are almost polar opposites, but they are a beautiful couple. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
like
true.
It's okay. Like stop trying to
Fatima
be what you are. Different. They are, right?
Fatima, my sister and my brother-in-law are completely different, but they work.
They are yin and a yang, and
it
they
is
are
so crazy.
So, but just be you. Stop trying to pump fake to be somebody else. Like it's okay.
Absolutely.
Be who you are,
and it's absolutely okay. And I think that that's not necessarily a compliment, but I thought it was fascinating that she actually went on ahead and said that, because I thought the expectations people have for their relationships are so fascinating.
Yeah,
because that's not something that you should aspire to. Like having a really good understanding of your spouse, not for them to assimilate with you.
Right.
They shouldn't be you in order for y'all to get along.
I mean, you're not building what's the
a step
the
for
scary the scary guy that they built. The Undertaker. What was the movie, babe?
Frankenstein.
The Frankenstein. Sorry. You're not building Frankenstein, like, you know what I mean?
Like what?
Yeah. You're not building Frankenstein though. Like, this is a different person, and that's okay. And you like their quirks and you like their differences and all of that and everything that comes with it. But she needs to slow down on trying to make them be this perfect situation. They so in love and they just like, slow down. We still only on week, in their world, this is week what?
4. And that's okay.
There's no way. It's no, you can't be head over heels in love with a dude that you met 4 weeks ago.
Might be.
It just can't be.
I don't want to. I think
you can be growing in love.
Read about romance,
be growing. You can be growing in love.
Yes.
But don't talk like y'all got 40 years in and this y'all just in 10 grandkids.
At 40 years old, and y'all ain't even loving each other like that. No, I'm kidding.
Y'all,
no.
We know some. I know some old folks that is loving each other. Okay,
we gonna love each other like that. But sorry, y'all. I'm really having a moment here.
She off the rails.
She's
thinking about her bonnet and where it is.
No, I'm not. I've also been drinking a little bit.
Well,
y'all gonna ask me, so I'm gonna tell y'all. Joe got me this On the Rocks premium tequila from a premium margarita by Hornitos. And it's on the go. It's very good. And all he did was chill it and put a lime in. I think it's buzzing.
It's like a ready-made joint. It's dope.
Yeah, it's really dope.
Shout out Hornitos.
So I just want to get into Paige and Chris again. So they come through, they play in a pool or whatever like that, okay? And another free date.
Let me ask this question: where were they? I didn't catch that. I remember asking when we was watching, but I don't remember where they were. Like, were they at his house or were they at somewhere? It didn't look like a bar, or for sure.
But maybe it was like a rec room in the apartment complex.
Oh, maybe that makes sense.
Okay. You know what I mean? Because it didn't. That's what they typically look like.
But their bar is low, so the fact that they spend time together is big.
No, Joe.
No, it is. Their bar is low. No. I'm not saying it should be low. No,
I'm sorry, babe. I'm sorry.
I'm saying that their bar is low. So the fact that they're spending time together, we haven't really seen, and not doing some F-boy stuff. Like, they not having no, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that they just out on a date again 2 times in one episode, that's a lot. You understand what I'm saying?
It was a lot. So it was a lot to see them.
I'm trying to give them some type of credit.
However, I'm tired of the free dates. Who is that for? Who is the free dates for? Why don't y'all go out and do things? But first of all, Chris kind of said something to that. Now, I don't know. I'm having a hard time with Chris because what I don't know is, are you trying to be nitpicky about things so that you could get out of this situation, right? Or do you genuinely feel like you're being underserved in this situation? Like, is he gaslighting her? Like, you didn't do this for me, so I'm not going to do it.
I think that Chris had a real moment of transparency here. And it's going to be hard for people to give this to him because I know he's been an F-boy for 10 weeks.
He's still an F-boy. Let's be clear.
No. Yes. I'm not. Yes. I agree. I'm saying that I think that it's going to be... It seemed like they were having a real moment there where she said, I want you to do, because Chris didn't bring this up. That's another thing that's telling about the situation, about the exchange from them. He didn't bring it up.
That's true.
She was talking about them doing better and them getting better and blah, blah, blah. And then Chris said, but I called you the other day off camera and you didn't pick up. And I called you 5 or 6 times and you didn't pick up, right? And he had a real moment of like, where the F was you at type thing. Like, you know what I mean? And everybody's been there. Like, if I call her and the phone rang a little bit too long and I got to call a couple, I'm like, what is going on? You know what I mean? So that looked genuine to me. It looked like he was like, I wanted to hang out with you, you know what I mean, off camera. And then he revealed some more and said, you don't really be having a lot to say when we off camera. So to me,
I'll call you, but you ain't got nothing. You don't even answer the phone.
Yeah. So to me, it seemed like,
which is fascinating.
To me, it seemed a little bit like the gloves came off, and it got a little bit real, and it maybe got a little bit too real for Paige as well, because she cried her way off the set. But it seemed like that was a little bit of truth and transparency within their situation. Like Chris decided to, remember I said, well, I'm watching this through the lens of like, okay, y'all decide to be here. Now I'm gonna look at y'all like the rest. I look at the rest of the couple, and so it just seemed like Chris was like, I'm here. I'm trying to get up. I want to work. I want to go out. I want to hang with you. I hit you up to get some food, and you never like even hit me back. You know what I mean? So, and then even you was saying like, she said, well, I was at my mother's house or something like that.
Why you don't answer the phone for your husband?
Like, I don't know no mother who's going to be weird because her daughter is like, let me tell my man where I'm at. My husband. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Let's be clear.
You know what I mean? And I feel like he's absolutely right. You was the one sitting up there with Dr. Viviana talking about, all I want is a text. All I want is a phone call. So now I'm providing you with that. And you acting like this ain't good enough, or you don't want to answer the phone. It is something. You
said you wanted to be here, Paige. Because you could have left the situation alone, and nobody would have blamed you. Nobody on earth would have blamed you. But you said you wanted to be here, and now Chris is like, "I'm here. This is the boy. You said this is the boy you said you wanted, right? After he had a baby on you and lied and had a fiance on you, all this other stuff." He's here, so now it's like somebody got to hold you accountable to be in the situation too, because you're going back to it.
But the problem. So the issue that I was having was I was trying to discern whether or not he was bullshitting, right? But the reality is she did not refute anything.
No, that's why I said I didn't think he was bullshitting. I thought it felt transparent to me.
Right, and it also makes me wonder: is her mother married? Because a married woman or with somebody, because. Maybe not even, but I just feel like so.
I think even.
You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like respectfully, when you're in a relationship or you are married or whatever the
case,
give
your advice is different.
You be like, call your mammy, tell my husband, and see what's up. Your advice is much different. Yes. You know what I mean? Joe, know if I don't answer the phone, we beefing. Like, you know what I mean? And then, and even then, even when we beefing, I'm answering the phone. You know what I mean? Because it could be anything he needs from me or vice versa. Mm-hmm. And it's like, who cares about this, whatever we feeling in the moment, if I got to be there for you or whatever the case may be. And I did feel like a little bit like, what is the end goal with this though, Paige? What's up, sis? But stop. Did you see the dad on confessional?
Y'all, now listen. She had me for a couple weeks.
She was looking cute, y'all.
She almost had me.
She was looking cute.
And then was looking cute. And then I realized it was just a hairstyle from the vacation. It was just, you know what I mean? It was just the twist, which when you go on a vacation, you get your braids, you get your twist or whatever. You good for a couple weeks or whatever. You know what I mean? And then she went back to normal. She went back to the Paige.
Yeah, we met.
That we met.
At the dog park? With the lace that was doing this? The lace that was exposed like this?
And I said, look, and then we back at it. We back in it.
That poor baby. That poor baby sat up there in that greasy ass wig. Okay? That wig was greasy and old. Do not put oil sheen on your human hair wigs. But you don't need it.
People still buying the oil sheen and spraying it.
You wouldn't believe. You don't really need it, y'all. You get your you want a little luster, but you don't want it to be oily. Because, you know what? I'm not, this ain't my channel. This is our channel. I'm not going to go in. Find me at Zar Galore, okay?
Straight up.
But I do think.
But she need it.
She needs some love and affection. And just some people who are... I'm having a hard time. Like, Brianna got braids. It's 8 weeks.
And I'm glad she do, because she needed to make a transition as well. Because they was watching the wedding video and she had the kinkly. And I'm like, bro, Brianna looks so much better.
Yo, he ain't no good.
She looks so much better. She do.
No, she is. I can't. But. You know, I do think that Paige has got to consider exactly what it is that she wants, because if what he is saying is true, this does look a bit suspect.
Yeah, like you wanted to be here. If you want to be here, regardless of what your spouse did or what if you're not leaving, then you got to show up.
It's annoying the shit out of me that we got to keep. Not even Kate, but we got to side with Chris.
I mean, it's just looking at it objectively.
I feel like I'm rolling around with pigs.
You know, that's how I feel. And I understand that feeling. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said people are not gonna give this to him, but it's just is just looking at it objectively because Paige made the decision to stay.
Yeah.
You made the decision to stay, so now you are an equal part in this relationship, and you gotta because you made the decision to stay, you got to show up. Now, if you want to make them pay for what they did, and then leave and move on about your life, and you're not obligated to give him any type time or pick up his phone calls or anything. But because you keep coming back to the situation, you can't come back and not be a full participant in this relationship.
Like, outside of this, because he's absolutely right. How do you? The issue I have with it is that you don't have a leg to stand on, sis. You can't be out here trying to get this mother jumper to get back on board, and then you don't do the work.
Right. Because you came back.
And don't get me wrong. You could feel, I don't want to absolve her of having the opportunity in the moments to have her feelings. Like, don't get me wrong. But I do think, like, you got to make a choice. You have to make a choice as to what is more of a priority for you.
Because you're still responsible to your spouse if you decide to keep your spouse.
Period.
So make a decision.
Oh my God, that is such a good point. No matter what you go through, the moment you decide that they're going to stay, you are now responsible.
You're still there.
You got to do the work too.
Unless you go and I tell my own friends this, and they know. If they watching this, they could drop down and confirm this. If you going to leave, then you are now free of your responsibilities. But if you decide to stay, you got to show up. Mm-hmm. I don't care what he did or what she did. Mm-hmm. If you decide that you're going to still be with that person, then you still got to show up in that relationship.
And usually it's for the better. Okay? It's for the better. You work it out. It's trivial, even though he got a whole... You know what? We ain't gonna get into
but
that.
You know, he got a whole family on the side, but you decided to stay.
You made that decision. Let's move on. So all the couples are celebrating. All the couples in Paige are celebrating their one.
In Paige.
Let's be clear. Their 1 month anniversary. Okay, which is super sweet. My favorite people to see were obviously Brianna and Vincent, because it felt cute, like y'all. Theirs was the least awkward too.
It was the first time that I had vibes from last season, and we in episode 12. Jesus Christ.
It was I know.
We had to wait 12
Jesus Christ.
episodes, bro.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it was the first time that I got Imani and Woody vibes.
Yeah.
It was the first time that I felt like this is a little moment. Like this is it's nice because we love love. We love to see love. And so it was the first. We've been watching all this fuck shit happen.
Yeah.
So it was the first time.
And we don't like that kind of energy in our house.
Yeah, straight up. But it was the first time that I got to see that, and I appreciated that. And I'm like, gee, we had to wait 12 weeks to have it, but it happened. So thanks, Champagne.
I thought it was thanks to Champagne Vinny. Cheers to you, brother. I really did appreciate it, and I appreciated the honest conversation that they had with one another. I appreciated that he planned something where he wanted to surprise her.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really sweet. I love that they did a boat ride. The boat on the outside looked a little...
It was a pontoon, so you're not gonna find a flying. You're not gonna find a fly pontoon. Yeah, it was sweet.
It was fly on the inside.
It was sweet. Yeah.
But I thought it was really dope that they got to spend some time with one another and really have like honest conversation. And he asked her, "Do you feel married?" And at first, I'm like, "What is that supposed to mean?" But then she answered and said, "Like,
it's very clear that both of them have a very negative connotation of marriage, which is not okay. They need to work on that in counseling." Because
I love marriage.
What does that mean? So he said, I appreciate that you make this not feel like a marriage. What the wait, what?
What do that mean?
What? That's not okay. Let's unwrap that in your session. Like what?
Because what is this supposed to feel like? I admire people, quite frankly, I do. I admire people who are single and can date and all that stuff like that. But I don't think
I've been there.
It's not fun.
It's not sweet.
Well, you was a man, so you had to pay a lot of restaurant bills.
Yeah, it's not fun. Like, I don't
admire that. For girls, it could be fun. But, I'm hungry. Let me call this guy. But I do think that, to your point, like, it's not fun.
Yeah, I don't admire
to your point, it's not fun.
I don't envy any of my single friends at all. And I love y'all to death, but I don't.
I just think that, I don't either. Like, I think it's a different feeling when you feel safe, secure. I know people who don't even take their wigs off in front of their men, and that to me is the most crazy thing, even though Joe explained it to me. But to me, it's like, what do you mean? Like, you're not that comfortable. Like, that's wild. You know what I mean? And I think that it was really fascinating to hear them and their depictions of marriage. Like, to say, like, it doesn't feel like a marriage.
It's just to say that you have past trauma and whatever you experienced and whatever you saw. People do what they see. So I understand it. If you never saw the success, we was listening to a podcast the other day in the car, and the guy said, "I never saw, I never saw a successful marriage." Yeah. He said, "So when I married my woman, you know, I came into it, you know, I had to change my POV because I wasn't conditioned to think that marriage could work. I wasn't conditioned to think that this situation could be on the up and up, and I can be an athlete, and I can be making money, and I can also give my wife the man that she deserves. I can also show up in my relationship, because that's not what they saw." Yeah. And so a lot of people can't see past their experiences, which I understand, but you gotta know that you need to shift that thinking
when you're so that in you can, a marriage.
1,000%. Because you can't bring that energy into your marriage. You can't bring that, you know, everything that I've seen has failed and marriage is a drag and marriage is this, that. You can't bring that energy into your situation. You need to make your situation, your marriage, your relationship what you want it to be. And you have to have, your goal has to be what you want it to be. Because if you thought that every marriage you know was a drag and nobody was happy in it, then that one means you around the wrong married couples. You need to surround yourself.
That's true.
Straight up. You the same way that you dress for the job you want, you surround yourself with the goals, with the people that are in line with the goals that you want to have. If you want to be in a successful marriage, you need to be around successful married couples. And you need to have them in your life. You need to have people who are motivated to have that type of thing in your life that can encourage your marriage, encourage your relationship, and help you up. You need that in your life. Like, you can't be saying that you want to be a successful accountant, but every accountant you know is done failed and now they work at Walmart.
No, I think...
And it's nothing wrong with Walmart. I love Walmart.
We love them. You're 1,000% correct, but I want to really drive home a point that just escaped my brain.
What?
That's not funny. I really forget.
What?
What was we talking about?
But she was about to deliver this.
Oh my God! I got it. I found it. Okay. Y'all, it's the Hornitos.
Shout out Hornitos.
Okay.
Pre-made.
What I wanted to say was that this is one of my tips. If you a girlfriend of mine and you know that I believe that if you want to be married, you need to hang out with married people. And I know that sounds weird or whatever the case may be, but the first person to help you get married is a married girlfriend. Okay? They're going to be the first one to be like, well, you know who I know? I know such and such. Because especially if they're in a successful marriage, the first thing they want you to do is feel that same, and they're a good girlfriend, because some of these hoes is hating. But if they're a good girlfriend, they want you to feel that same kind of love too. And not even that, I know let's be clear, everybody doesn't want to be married. I get that. But I do think everybody wants companionship and partnership. And I think that they can help you with that as well. You know what I mean? But like you said, like, you want to be around people who are
like-minded, intentional about where you want to go. Because that, you know what I mean? Still sharp and still. And so I think that is important to be around. So you got to protect your baby, your relationship, your goals, and your situation, and you want to be around people who's going to push you towards that and encourage you,
and people who get it.
Yes, that's another thing.
People who get it, because the you wouldn't believe the advice I have gotten from single friends versus the advice I get from my married friends. 1,000%. It is unbelievably different. You know what I mean? And not that they don't give good advice for the space that they're in. They don't give good advice for the space that I'm in.
And you got to take that into account.
And you got to be able to discern the two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
like,
it's a difference.
Because if you rocking and rolling, you could be mad at a mother jumper, but people be like, well, leave. And you be like, well, who the fuck you leave?
Yeah, that's the, I mean, you know.
I ain't saying all that. I said he got on my nerves last night.
And if you are a homeowner and you having issues about home improvement projects, you can't get advice from a person who's only ever rented a studio apartment.
Period.
You just can't. And there's nothing wrong with them being where they are. but they can't give you adequate advice on your situation. Exactly. And we need to take that same energy into every aspect of life. You gonna
go to a broke accountant?
Straight up. But people till this day will call their single girlfriend and ask them, what should I do about da 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 and da 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 da. You can love your girlfriend as much as you want to love her, but when you having relationship issues, you should call.
You just gotta consider the source.
Consider the source.
You just gotta consider the source straight up. But I want to bag pedal pussy pie just a little. And y'all need to know, I hate saying the P word. I usually say poom poom, but we're gonna poom poom pop backwards because I kind of skirted past something, and that was the picnic that Virginia and Eric had. Virginia and Eric has this picnic, which was super cute. She just wanted to get all the little things that he liked and just sit down and chit chat about their progress and everything like that. And she speaks about how Clara and Ryan are beginning the process of moving in one another, and just asks, what does Eric think about it? And Eric thinks that Virginia should move into his place until they can find another place. This had to be the most annoying part for me, y'all.
This is tricky, this whole conversation.
This ain't tricky.
It is. We're going to talk about why.
So, Joe didn't talk to me the whole episode, right?
I was trying to be
good. I really don't know how he feel about this.
Because what'll happen is we'll start talking, and we did it we watched the episode the day it came on. We had to watch it again, and we'll talk through the episode and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But, so this is my issue with, and this might be a personal thing. I've come into a space with people who have been more established or whatever the case may be, and even here, I came here and you had set us up and everything like that, and I came on the back end, and granted it was our space, but I understand what she's saying, because I wasn't moving into Joe's old place. I already knew that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck what we do. I will not live there. But, so I understood. I was going with her on that, right? However, Joe didn't own his own place, right? So if he owned it, I would have to make a different decision based on just a better financial decision.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like, and I felt like for her to even say, like, well, I don't want to live there, I'll feel uncomfortable, why don't I just stay where I'm at? It's just so indicative of her immature.
That's it.
That's so indicative.
I mean,
of her immaturity.
And this,
like, child,
that's
please.
It. And this is what I was talking about with their situation a couple weeks ago. It's just, she's in a different place. She's not ready to be married. She made that very clear.
I don't know what she's ready for.
She made that very clear to me a long time ago. She
ain't ready for sobriety. She ain't ready for marriage.
She shows her immaturity a lot in little bits and pieces throughout, them taping. You see her immaturity show up and rear its ugly head in different situations. So her saying that didn't surprise me at all, because because that only a mature woman in a different space in life would understand what you're saying right now. And if you are younger and you're immature in your thinking, because not that younger means you're immature. You can be younger and be right there.
Absolutely.
But for her, it's both. For her, she's younger and immature, right?
She's slow.
So if you're younger,
and I don't even want to call her slow, because there's a lot of slow people who's super fast. She is behind. Like, learning disability, like, but the worst kind of it. Like, something is wrong with this child. Like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to understand how he invests in something. He hasn't, but this is the same shit with Clara and Ryan. He's invested in something on his own, but you feel such a burden coming into a space that's already acquired. And I get it, right? It might be the spirit of other people there, whatever. I get it. However, he already got a mortgage. A lot of us is working for that.
It was a little fast because it was a little premature, because also, like, he's like, I have to sell the house first. Wait a minute, y'all. This is 4 weeks. This is 4 weeks.
But I want to be clear. He didn't say that he wouldn't move into a place.
No, he didn't. He just said it's going to take time, and for this period of time, we should just live here because I have to sell this house. So that makes sense to me. Like, I understand that. It's tricky because One, she's immature. She's not going to understand. She's not going to understand any of this. She doesn't. She doesn't get it. She doesn't understand any of that. You talk about home ownership and mortgage and the process of something.
And then she going to say, don't talk to me like I'm stupid. Well, bitch, you something. What they call it? What they call it around your parts? What they call it? Because you stupid. You really on a.
She's just not in that. She just. This is where their age gap and their experience in life is showing itself to me, right?
It's just really annoying.
So that's one part, but it's tricky because he also went back to doing this thing, and some of y'all talked about this in the comments last week and the week before that. He also went back to doing this thing of it's my way or the highway. That's the other tricky. That's what makes it tricky.
And that's
because that's not a marriage.
And
that is not a marriage. That is not marriage, bro. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how much experience you have. He also keep doing this thing where he's belittling her and constantly telling her, well, I did this before. And she said, I don't love when you say that.
But you know what, though? I get that. I get that from a person who have done some things before that my spouse is not. You do come into spaces and you
It's not okay to say.
It's not okay to
say.
Go with you on
because what you have never done before is done what you're doing now with that person.
Right.
I do. So it's not okay. You're like, it's a feeling. It's okay. It's okay. It may be a natural feeling to have.
Yeah.
But is it adequate to say, and is it constructive into moving your relationship forward? No, it's not. It's not okay to constantly say things like that and constantly demean and make your partner feel small,
which I think is why she pushes back
1000%. To constantly tell somebody I'm not new to this, you did it, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's this that to constantly do that to your partner, to your spouse, no matter how old they are, is toxic. That's not okay. So it's not okay to constantly, and he does that, but not only does he do that, that's why I said it's tricky, because there's a lot of components to this. Not only does he do that, but he does this it's my way or the highway thing. I'm gonna live here, and that's not marriage. That's not a relationship. I'm going to live here, and if you want to join me, then join me. Because at the end of the day, this is your wife.
But and so he also feel like is dumb.
At the end of the day, this is your wife. And if she's saying that I'm not comfortable with this, then your issue is now I have to go to a place where I have to meet her where she's at. And whether you like it or not. Because you're going to have a lot of situations in a real relationship, in a marriage, where you feel like,
shut down.
Straight up, where you feel like I don't agree with what this person is telling me, but in order to keep this train moving, I'm going to come to a place of compromise.
But that's a big compromise.
It doesn't matter.
I think
but there is no too big of a compromise. No, you have a whole wife. So he has constantly but let me just finish real quick.
I'm sorry, baby.
He has constantly shown up in this space, in this relationship, and come from a place of, it's my way or the highway.
He does.
That's not okay at all. And this is we both acknowledge that your spouse is immature, super young, all this, but you signed on to be this, and so this is where you at.
How about that?
So now, with all that being taken into account, this is still your wife.
Yeah.
So now you still have. We just talked about it. And now we come in full circle, and it's about time for us too, because we about to wrap up. So now we're coming full circle to a point of, this is still your wife, so you have to show up in this relationship at the same way, regardless of how young she is, how immature she is, all of that. You still have to show up being her husband and being an adequate part of this relationship. So now she's saying that she's uncomfortable moving into your house. Your response cannot be, this is what it is, and if you don't like it, then you could just...
Because did he even ask her why?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, so... we're going.
That's why it's tricky. That's why
it's tricky, because I want to cape for him, but he always say some shit that make me be like,
he does.
You're such a fucking Republican.
But that's another tricky situation.
Yeah, but you know what? Let's move on. We want to start wrapping this up. Clara and Ryan have their little dinner outside of the house. He strings the lights up like she wanted them, which was super nice. And cute. She said something that I thought was super fascinating. She said that she wants romance with romantic intentions. And I y'all will have to explain that to me, because I thought what he did was romantic with the intent to be romantical.
I did too.
So you're saying that you want romance with the intentions of dick.
She wants sex.
That's what you say.
She's not getting it, and
that's a different thing.
It's coming back.
Different thing.
Everything that's happening in a relationship keeps coming back to sex. Yeah. With her,
and she gotta really, really close her legs to married men. You know what I mean? Like, slow down, sis. Slow down. You got time. Y'all gonna be together forever. Close your legs to married men. So let's move on, because I want to talk about Haley and Jacob. I've been really thinking about Haley and Jacob, and as we were watching them unfold at the winery, it felt like they were going good. They had this good session with this card reader where she said that they were aligned in their charts, even though Haley wanted it.
The card reader was a little shaky for me too. It was another tricky situation because she came. First of all, they friends, and that was one thing. She said, "Oh, my friend gonna come out and read the card." That's your card reader.
I didn't like that either.
Y'all can't be friends with the card reader.
First of all,
what does that mean?
How deep does your friendship go? That is the first rule of card reader. They can't know you too good.
Yeah, because she came in right off the bat like, so I'm seeing that he's pushing you to do something that you don't want to do, and we do. She like, is that right? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And I know Jacob got to be like. What did you tell this chick?
It's making her, giving her anxiety that you want to be more passionate or whatever the case may be. And it's just like,
she was way too specific.
He is your husband.
She was way too specific with the car readings from the jump though.
I'm tired of Haley ass. And I mean tired. I'm so tired of her. Like, it's not even funny. Like, she getting up there with Clara. Okay? But I wanted to bring them up because he started to get agitated by the whole thing and just said, like, you won't even give me a hug without it being some kind of perfunctory sigh or something like where you like disgusted by me.
So he like, I'm done with
so
that.
I don't even know how to woo you and be more forthright and romantic because you do all this stuff. And I'm kind of, one of the things I was very clear to me that he's dealing with is rejection. And I think that he keeps himself the way he does. He purchases the home. He purchased the home the way he did. He bought the pool and did all that the way he did. All for a partial fear of rejection from somebody else, right? If I align myself with all of these things that make me aesthetically beautiful, make me this, make me that, nobody could ever say, I ain't the one. And I'm not the catch, right? So when you meet somebody and they say those exact words... It could really F with you.
And the thing is, this is another thing about signing up for reality TV and for this show in particular.
Yeah.
We gotta acknowledge that there is a 50-50 chance that this person will not like you. Mm-hmm. And that just needs to be a reality for everybody. He made the statement, I've never been with anybody who wasn't attracted to me. You wouldn't be, because you've never got married to a complete stranger before. Where you would only... In regular everyday life, you only are interacting with people in a dating space that are into you.
But at the same time, Haley gonna say, "Well, I never had this much of an issue having a connection with somebody." But bitch, you single. But you had to come on the show to marry a stranger.
But the same thing for her. The same thing for her. The same thing for her. The same thing. I would say the same thing for her in that you also, Haley, never have signed up to be with a stranger before. So the same way that
you ain't never had a man.
The same way that you're having issues building a connection with a complete stranger is the same way that he having issues being with a person who don't like him. Because y'all both in these spaces where y'all would have never ever been in this space before. Which
is why you should give each other grace. And by giving
why you should give each other grace.
But by giving each other grace, I mean that she got to give him more grace. Because you can tell he is trying and he's superlatively frustrated by the outcome. Because if you keep doing something, you keep thinking, all right, I'm going to do this. They said, let's be physical every day. And then you give me this, What am I supposed to do with that? I feel like the problem I'm having is that she is tired. She is so tired, and I really don't have a problem. I mean, it's the Hornito, y'all. I don't have a problem with her saying that she's not attracted to him. I have an issue with her alluding to the fact. I have an issue with her alluding to the fact that he's aggressive. She said, "Well, I don't want to be in a space where all you want to do is put your hands on me." And he like for a hug. Yeah. Like, don't do that. And he said that, like, let's not like. Don't conflate these.
But things. This goes back to people looking for a way out because they don't want to just say that I'm not attracted.
But you'll do everything, go around this mulberry bush, and now you look like a plum motherfucking fool.
Yeah.
And it's like, we tired of that, sis. Like, I'm so tired of her. And we just gonna end it with the fact, in this whole thing with the fact that Paige was alone. We ain't gotta go into that. The bitch was alone. Yeah. Like, she was alone.
And she keep coming back to this. And she keeps coming back. Like, and it's like, Paige, if you left, if you walked away from this situation, nobody on the face of earth will blame you or criticize you, anything. But you keep coming back to this situation. And so now you open yourself up to being called out for not being a participant in a relationship that you keep coming back to.
And that's on Mary Had a Little Layup. So thank you guys for joining us. I hope we got to everything. The Hornitos is really kicking my butt today, y'all.
We got it.
Okay. I apologize. I am buzzed. I'm not even going to tell y'all no lies. I am buzzed. It was really good. But that's here nor there. Thank you so much for joining us. Come back next week because we're still talking all things Married at First Sight. Also, bust in and let us know what we should be watching, what we should be reviewing, all those things, because we want to keep it up with you guys.
Yeah, we got to do Temptation Island next, y'all. I don't know if y'all
But we too far in, though.
No, I'm saying next season.
Okay, yeah. We definitely got to do. I love Temptation Island. So bad.
It's a lot,
so they're watching it at my. You know what? We're going into something else. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you beautiful mother jumpers later. Bye.